What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So, first of all, welcome to the OCG metagame breakdown number 4 and 5. It's been a while since the last one. As you can see, it was like April 27th, and now it's like mid-May for this one, because obviously there is Infinite Forbidden now, so things are much different. So there was no reason to publish one like as soon as the set got released. So we had to wait until like we started getting some tournament reports, and now it actually does make sense to, you know, see what people are playing with the new set, because there are some new decks. And as you can see, 10 by Dragon is now better than Far King, and there's a lot of other differences, of course, that I will be covering in this video. 322 top-performing decks. That is a massive number from 71 tournaments. So yeah, it's usually more than, like, I think the average is like, what, 150, something like that. Okay, this was 280, and then 151, 98. Yeah, it averages out to like 150, 170-ish, something like that. But anyways, before we proceed, friendly reminder, of course, to smash the like and subscribe button. You already know it. And also, huge shoutouts to my sponsors, Inspire TCG, as well as Dueling Guard. So please check both of them out. Links will be in the description box below, as always. And for Dueling Guard, use the coupon code YASIN5 for 5% off your order. And if you're a big fan of, you know, One Piece merch and stuff like that, they have their Wave 7 stock at their disposal for pre-order right now. They do have limited inventory. Make sure that, you know, you get your hands on these beautiful deck boxes and everything before they run out. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so obviously, 10 by Dragon is the #1 best deck, 21.4%. That's not like tier 0 status, not even remotely close, but still pretty good. And then Far King, right, at 12.4%, a really huge fall from grace. It's really sad to see that Pure Snake Eyes is like not even like better than Far King in the OCG, because they have like even more non-engine, so very interesting. But anyways, Ubel, 3rd best deck. Makes a lot of sense. The most popular build is with Fiendsmith. So Fiendsmith is the engine that allows you to summon rank 6 monster very easily without having to use up your normal summon. It's pretty broken, and it's very simple as well. You really just play like 3 of the Fiendsmith monster, and then 1 of the Hornet Drones, the Sanctum. And if you really want to, you can play the Fabled something, I forgot the name. Basically, when it's discarded, it revives itself back, and the 1 spell card that searches a light feed monster from your deck to your hand. So you could also go for like Beatrice and then get your stuff going from there. Beatrice is a great card in pretty much almost every single deck, so everyone can benefit off of the Fiendsmith engine, which is why even the Far King deck is playing Fiendsmith, Pure Snake Eye is playing Fiendsmith, everybody's playing Fiendsmith. It is the new... hold on a second. The new Horus engine, not really. It's even more splashable than Horus because it's so minimalistic, super clean. I've made a shorts on it, but I will be making an in-depth video on Fiendsmith very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, obviously those monsters are fiends, so anything that is a fiend deck can benefit even more off of Fiendsmith, and they're level 6 as well. So Unchained is another deck that is back to being very, very good in the OCG, and it's going to be extremely good in the TCG as well, because Caesar is not banned. It should have gotten banned, honestly, instead of Sharvara limited, in order to decrease the ceiling of the deck instead of limiting the, I guess, consistency to a certain extent. I don't know. I think they kind of didn't really address the correct card, but it's not the end of the world. Anyways, Snake Eye Pure. Okay, Fiendsmith Snake Eye is the most popular build. Again, makes a lot of sense because Snake Eye Pure has more room for non-engines, so they can afford to play like some other engines instead of the Far King cards, because the Far King cards are like 7 to 10 cards. So if you really want to be able to play like, I don't know, something that beats Nibiru in the form of, again, Caesar, you can do that. So yeah, Nibiru is actually really, really bad right now, and it's never been this garbage because 1 card just beats it immediately, and you still have, like, the Snake Eye engine itself beats Nibiru as well. Fiendish Millennium Snake Eye, I don't know what the Millennium cards are supposed to do for you, but okay. And then Voice's Voice, okay, wow, it's actually doing really well. Memento, that is a newer deck-ish, kind of. Well, I mean, it already existed a while back, but it was really garbage. But there was a new fusion monster that just foolishes a bunch of cards. It's a really, really good card, so I really have to look into the deck with a new support, because people keep telling me that this deck is broken now, and I have to make a video on it. So yeah, you can expect that in a few weeks, maybe, because I still have to, like, read the cards, and obviously I'm not going to try to copy other deck lists. Branded Despia, sure. Centurion, again, another deck that gets to play Shifter. Okay, some people are playing Fiendsmith, White Woods, Centurion. Oh, speaking of which, okay, well, first of all, these 2 decks are completely new from Infinite Forbidden. Well, Gimmick Puppet is not a new deck, but it's always been garbage, but now it finally got, like, real legitimate support from Infinite Forbidden. Now the deck can FTK with 1 single card, but it's a 40% chance of that happening, so it's not really an FTK deck. It can FTK every once in a while, but the majority of the time what you're doing is you're setting up 2 interruptions, you're burning your opponent for a little bit, like 5,000 damage max, which looks like a lot, but when you're not killing your opponent, burning for 5k is not even that much. And then you're basically just passing turn with a bunch of draws from Dark Strings, 1, 2, or 3, depending on how good your hand is. But usually those are like really, those are combos that involve a lot of cards, so you're really just making your money back. You're not really plussing all that much. So yeah, it's a good deck for sure. But it does have some issues because you're always locked under Gimmick Puppets from the extra deck only. So even the Horus Engine, it doesn't really add too much to your strategy. Like, it's not like you can make a Photon Lord play through hand shops or a Harbinger to make more interruptions. Again, that is not something that you can do, unfortunately. Anyways, White Woods, another deck that I really have to look into. This one, I can understand how it can be nice because you keep pitching your spells and then you get some nice effects, and then the spells, they reset themselves back. And then with the Toy Engine, you're basically just playing better artifact cards. So that I really have to look into in particular. And with Centurion, I know that they have nice synergy because you get to special summon like spellcaster, light spellcasters from the deck, and Primera is a light spellcaster, which is also a 1-card starter for the Centurion package. So that looks very promising. But I don't know if you want to play some Centurion cards in a Whitewoods deck when you can just play some Whitewood cards in a Centurion deck, right? Again, I gotta test everything. Anyways, Melodious Supreme King. Yes, okay. A Melodious Engine is like doing so well in the TCG already. Some people are playing it in Snake Eyes, some people are playing it in Voice's Voice. I'm not seeing a lot of like interesting innovation here in the OCG. It's always the same thing, Melodious Supreme King, because they got Electrum, so might as well, because they're playing a lot of Pendulum monsters. Anyways, Runic Stun, okay, Rescue is, that deck is lame. Infernoid, okay, Magician, Ritual Beast, Salamangreat, okay, all the Terminal World decks are just not like that great. Salamangreat, Surge, Whitetron, Labyrinth, Medulce, Orcus, Sky Striker, Thunder Dragon, Adamancipator, Chimera, Fiendsmith, Valmonica, okay, yeah, alright, Horus Natura, Sword Soul, what is this? Dragon Ruler, what? Oh my god, yo, people are on the copium. Dinosaur, wow, okay, sure, that is interesting. Grass Dragon Link, Flunderies. Oh my god, yeah, this is a mouthful. Yeah, Manadome, blah, 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 blah. Don't really care, and yeah, don't care at all. Alright, cool. Tenpai Dragon. Okay, so they just got like 2-3 new cards from the new set. Well, 2 new monsters, 1 new trap card. The trap card's like not even that good. What's the name of the card? Sengen Kaihu. Basically, it's a card that skips your opponent's next main phase 1. Which doesn't really do anything because then your opponent goes into battle phase and then main phase 2. So at the end of the day, what you're really doing is skipping your opponent's battle phase. So would you play Threatening Roar in your deck if it was searchable? If the answer is yes, then I don't really know what to say. Unless you're playing against like the mirror match, then sure, I can see it. But bro, it's just a Threatening Roar. It's not that good. It's not a turn skip. People are completely overhyping the shit out of that card. You gotta play a lot of like garbage gimmicky cards in order to make it work, like Ojama Trio, and then summon the level 10 Synchro to like make it so that your opponent has to like attack over your monsters, and then like he dies because all the Ojama monsters have 0 attack, and then you're redirecting them to the. It's really stupid. It makes no sense. Don't waste your time with that new trap card. It's just not really good. Whereas for the other two monsters, they're not too bad. So Tenpai Dragon of Genroku is the yellow dragon. Basically, whenever it is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you get to special summon it from the hand. And then on the field, it's a quick effect Lone Fire Blossom, so you tribute it and then summon any Tenpai Dragon monster from your deck. And then you make it a tuner, and it becomes level 1, I think. No, actually, the thing to... it special summons itself as a tuner when it is added, and then you can increase its level by 1. And then you special summon it as a tuner. There you go. Yeah, I was reading the wrong thing. So yeah, the Lone Fire Blossom effect has nothing to do. It's another effect. Okay, sure. So yeah, it's a good card, but it doesn't really change all that much because at the end of the day, like the deck already had a lot of starters. So now you're really just replacing some other cards with this, or you're removing some non-engine for that. Or I guess they were playing Desires, so they cut Desires. So it doesn't really change much because we already have 3 Prosperity in the TCG, which means that this deck is already pretty much at full consistency if you want to be able to run like 22 like non-engine cards. How much does this run? Hold on a second. 4, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 19, 22. Okay, yeah, you see, it's always the exact same number because every single deck list is the freaking same. It's Standby Dragon, bro. It's not a high IQ, skill ceiling deck. No, it's really, you just do the same thing every single time. Anyways, Dragon Knight or Charmander looking ass. This card can search any of your Standby Dragon monsters on normal summon. So it's also like a relatively decent card, but it's not like that insane. But the thing is, now the deck just has like billions of normal summons. So that's the reason why it's like, yeah, sure, the deck got like new support, but like who really cares? Because now you got like 3 Bidora, and then 2 Genroku, and 1 Draco, like Dora Draco. So it's 6 like strict normal summons. If you see them in your hand, there's pretty much nothing else that you can do with them. It's not like you can normal summon 2 of them, or like special summon another one, unless you got Kaiman, but like Kaiman was already special summoning a monster anyways from the deck, pretty much. Well, you search and then you special summon from the hand, but it ends up being the same. So, again, the new support, all it really did was just make Tenpai Dragon more consistent, but definitely not more powerful. The deck doesn't really do all that much, at least compared to before, and the new trap card is just not even seeing that much play. Now, as you can clearly see, there's an extremely interesting card in the side deck, and this card is Curry Photon. So it's a hand trap that can be discarded from the, well, not even discarded, sent from the hand to the graveyard, so under Shifter it's gonna work a little less, but it's a quick effect, it's proactive, you can use it whenever. And then you also pay 2,000 life points, and for the rest of the turn, you take no damage. No damage. So that includes no battle and no effect damage. So in other words, this is the one hand trap that covers both FTK decks and OTK decks. So Tenpai Dragon and Gimmick Puppet, they won't be able to kill you. So that's the only thing that this card does. It doesn't really hurt the opponent, it really just makes you survive. I'm not a big fan of cards like that, because if you don't have much going on for you, you're not going to be winning the game. And if your opponent can still put up some interruptions, then you're going to be losing against your opponent's engine. So it's just really bad. A card like DD Crow is actually much better against Gimmick Puppet, because you are also not getting FTK'd because you're banishing the rank of magic, and also you're going to be making it so that your opponent can't really end on a lot of interruptions. So basically going from 2 to 0, or like the only interruptions in your opponent's hand will be like the hand traps, which aren't really like that scary. I mean, you're always gonna have to deal with them anyways. There is nothing that you can do about that. But yeah, a card like DD Crow is actually much more efficient in that manner. And then for the mirror match, I guess there is Ghost Ogre. That's already being a main deck to 2. So yeah, really going for like covering a lot of ground with 2, 2, and 2. And then all the good hand traps 3, 3, 3, 3. So, I mean, it's a good configuration. I'm a big fan of how this deck list is built. It just, I don't even know if you even need Dora Draco. Like, you might as well just not play it and maybe play like 3 Ganiroku. I don't know. I don't really care. It changes nothing to my life. So, yeah, whatever. Anything that makes you happy, right? And, yeah, there's pretty much nothing else to cover here for Tenpai Dragon. A lot of hand traps because we're already playing like billions. And then we're siding even more with one random ass Santa Claus, the one red reboot that they still have, and then Typhoon for the Ubel matchup. And even, I guess, to a certain extent, Voice's Voice, it might come up every now and then. Okay, so Fire King is a deck that just keeps evolving again and again and again, and they are playing one really interesting package in their deck. It's really just one card in the main deck and one Link monster. And that card is Top Hat Hair, the Silhouette Magician. It's a Link 2 monster that requires 2 effect monsters. And when it is Link summoned, you get to set a Silhouette. Well, I mean, you're basically setting any continuous trap card from your deck to your field that can special summon itself. So all the trap monsters, like the Eldritch traps and stuff like that, or Angel Statue Azurune, that card's pretty much like a solemn warning. So it's not a bad card. It's just that, you know, you gotta make it, like, it's a trap card. So it's like, you're not gonna be showing, like, you don't want to draw these cards going second, and you want them to have like a nice impact when you're going first, and you want them to have like a real, like, actual like purpose. And with a card like Silhouette, you get to negate cards that your opponent controls. So it is not too bad, and you get to set this card pretty much for free with this Link 2 monster. It's just that you can't use it as a Link material because of its effect, right? So you can't like summon this and then get a trap card for free and then keep linking off. But if you have this on its own, it already negates one card, and then with the Top Hat Hair Silhouette Magician, it's another illusion monster in your field, so you get to negate another card. I don't know if it happens like simultaneously, just like Swamp Apophis, the Swamp Deity. I think it's like an activated effect when it's summoned, so I don't know if it can negate like, I don't know, like Cosmic Cyclone evenly and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe, but whatever. And then, sorry, another effect that the Top Hat Link 2 monster has is whenever you summon a continuous trap monster, you get to destroy one spell or trap card your opponent controls. I believe that's the effect. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's just like a free package. It reminds me a lot of like Artifact Dagda and the Artifact monsters, but less unfair and yeah, less unfair really. And for the rest of the deck list, I mean, it's really just like it's a clusterfuck. There's really no other way to put it because we're seeing like so many Fire King monsters in the deck that it looks way less like a Snake Eye deck. I mean, we're seeing like 2 Consort Volcanics with a Garunix. Again, if you want to play the package, you got to play the 1 Garunix and at least 1 Volcanics. That's the bare minimum. And then, yeah, 2 Snake Eye Ash because it's semi-limited. It's just, you might as well play pure Snake Eyes at this point. If like, you gotta play like that amount of Fire King cards. And then also the Skybird in the main deck. It's disgusting to look at. And then 1 for 1, okay, sure. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it works out better than I think. But there's also like no Coach King Giant Trainer, no Photon Lord, which you can kind of summon easily because when you destroy Volcanics, you get to summon the Garunix from deck. And then obviously the Garunix itself is a monster that destroys the Volcanics to summon that. So that's how the combo works in order to beat Nibiru. And yeah, Kikinagashi Fucho in the side deck Complete Myth. That card is complete trash. Do not play that card. Okay, for Ubel, so same thing as I mentioned before. They are playing the Fiendsmith monsters. This whole deck list, to me, is crystal clear. I understand pretty much everything about it, except for the Chaos Summoning Beast. I think that's the name of the card. It looks like the most random card there. It works well with Dark Beckoning Beast, so I understand the logic. You get to summon Link 2 Fiend monster a little easier, so you get to go into Yama, and then search Sharvara, and then go into Unchained Soul of Rage, etc., blah, blah, blah. Or you get to make Moon Underworld, Moon Sky, whatever, into the Requiem, and then summon the Fiendsmith, and then go into the Link 2 Fusion Summon for Lacrimosa, revive back the Fiendsmith, and then make a rank 6 that way. So you got a lot of nice options in this deck for sure. It's basically a good stuff Fiend deck in a way, but it only really needs like 3 engines. The Ubel engine is like microscopic, so don't go thinking that this is like a full-fledged Ubel deck. It's even in the Ubel deck, the Ubel cards are like not even that great. Like this is a brick, this is a brick, this is almost a brick, and then Samsara is good, and then the Field Spell is good, and then everything else is just like meh. It's just like you gotta see them in combination with other cards, because the Dark Beckoning Beast on its own, all it really does is just make like a Link 2 monster, which is fine. I mean, the Link 2's, again, the Fiendsmith engine is pretty much like the Nightmare engine that goes into the Orchest engine. So you make like a Nightmare Phoenix and then into Mermaid. That's pretty much the same concept here. You make the baby Underworld Goddess and then you turn it into the Fiendsmith Requiem. So it's pretty much the same thing as turning Phoenix into Mermaid. And then summoning the Fiendsmith from deck, which is pretty much Orchest Nightmare. So yeah, it's just even cleaner because those cards are good to draw. Whereas Orchest Nightmare is like actually really, really bad to draw. Or at least it was if you were not playing the Orchest deck with Orchestrated Return and stuff like that. How many hand traps is this deck playing? 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, okay. That's 85.04% chance, I believe, to draw a hand trap going second, which is fine. And then going first, you got a lot of ways to make interruptions. You can make the rank 10 Omni-Negate. Caesar, very easily, you got a lot of ways to go into that. And then, yeah, Phantom of Ubel to stop Nibiru. This deck just feels like it's a very good tech deck to beat the hand traps, because if people are playing like pretty much any, I mean, except for Max C, but if people are playing like Nibiru and stuff like that, you always get to negate them so easily. There's just so many ways, like Caesar can negate Nibiru, Phantom of Ubel can negate Nibiru, or you can make a big board in less than 5 summons, and you're backed up with a lot of cards that float, or cards that can just do things on your opponent's turn, like the Unchained monsters that link off and stuff like that. So it's really nice. And again, if you didn't notice already, there's Sharvara but no Unchained trap cards. So people are really trying to make this deck as clean and minimalistic as they possibly can. And only 1 Nightmare Pain, the continuous spell that destroys, and then it's pretty much like a Draconic Diagram. This card you can recycle it back with the Spirit Gates. I think that's the name of the card. If you control a level 10 monster, once per turn you get to grab back a continuous spell from your graveyard to your hand. I think that's what the card does. Because I know that if you had like a Sacred Beast monster, you got to recycle back any of your continuous spells. So yeah, that's what it should do. So your Spirit of Ubel and Ubel, or Phantom of Ubel. No, sorry, Phantom of Ubel is level 9. But these 3 monsters, they're all level 10, so that's what you can do with them. So that's really cool. And then for the side deck One Majesty's Fiend, this is very random. I don't know if it's searchable. I don't think it is. Oh, no, actually, sorry, it's a Light Fiend. I'm extremely stupid. Wait, hold on a second. Isn't that, like, completely broken? Oh, wow. Oh, damn. Okay, yeah, that's insane. And also, I think, yeah, Kree Photon is a light fiend, so it is also searchable. A searchable hand shot, but it's a bad hand shot though. But it's still something that you can get with the Fiendsmith spell card. Even more hand shots: 2 Nibiru, 2 Ogre, 2 Bell, 1 Veiler, 1 Jewel. It's just like a lot of filler gap, right? Like you're like, oh my god, okay, I got like way too much space in my side deck. Might as well just try to bring in as many like going second cards as possible. Most of them are complete dog shit. Like you might as well main deck the 3rd Veiler at this point. So I don't know, but I guess he's playing the 1 cross out, so that's how he justifies it. It's just, yeah. Anyways, pure Snake Eye. Again, this doesn't really feel like a pure deck when you're playing not really a lot of other engines, but we're seeing Silvera in the main deck, but no Dramatic Chase, which is a little sus. And then, pretty big Fiendsmith engine, because there's also the Fabled Monster, 2 spell cards. And hold on a second, what the hell did I just realized there's no Sanctum. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, so people aren't even doing the same thing I expected them to do. But there is one very interesting tech card in the side deck. It's Angel of Blue Tears. So whenever your opponent takes damage, you get to banish it and then set a trap card directly from your deck to your field. So basically, you send this with Beatrice using Lacrimosa, and when Lacrimosa is sent to the grave, you get to shuffle back one of your Light Fiends from your graveyard into the deck or extra deck, and burn your opponent for 12. And since the Lacrimosa was sent pretty much at the same time as you send the Angel of Blue Tears, you can pretty much turn a Beatrice into any normal trap card floodgate. So D-Barrier, Black Goat Laughs, a Pointer of the Red Lotus, all those normal trap cards, you get to set them for free, so you don't have to physically hard draw them, and you don't need to rely on transaction rollback either. So that's actually kind of scary, because the on-field effect of Black Goat Laughs is actually much better than the in-grave effect. You get to floodgate the shit out of Tenpai Dragon. Another thing that I did forget to mention, because of the fact that they got a new tuner monster, they don't have to rely on Chunjua anymore for synchro summoning, so they can beat Black Goat Laughs with this new monster. So that's also kind of dangerous. Keep that in mind if you are trying to play this card against Tenpai Dragon. It is a very good tech card against them. But yeah, this deck changed so much, I don't really recognize pure Snake Eyes anymore. There's freaking Lacrimosa, Dias Eras, I think that negates any card or spell or something like that. It is a card that negates stuff, so I'm pretty sure. And there's also Silvera that negates, because there's no Baron, no Borlo Savage. I mean, I don't know if these cards are banned in the OCG as well, but whatever, it doesn't matter because people are not playing Jet Synchron, so I guess it is. 3 Populous, I think that's overkill as hell, but I guess Snake Eye Ash is semi-limited, and Wanted is limited. Does hurt a lot. It really encourages you to play a non-fire deck, and if you want to play a non-fire deck, I actually think Ubel is the best one. Ubel just feels so broken. It has a lot of one-card starters. I mean, Samsara, Nightmare Throne, no, Spirit Gates is not one of them, and then Dark Beckoning Beast is like a semi-starter. It depends on the situation, depends on the day, depends on the mood. But yeah, this deck, I think in the TCG is going to be tier 0 for all the WCQs for Worlds, because man, it's just, we still have everything, and the other decks, I don't know if they can really compete, especially when there is no Max C. This deck is just looking to be even scary and scarier, because if everyone else can, like, if this deck can play the same engine as everybody else is playing, but it was already better before, then this deck is just going to, like, there's going to be like an even bigger gap because between this deck and the other decks. And yeah, by the way, the Beatrice is trying to send Snake Eye Ash so that if you can get the Princess, then you can revive back the Snake Eye Ash and full Snake Eye combo from there. So yeah, it's, I think you've seen this before. Anyways, this new monster is the new hand shop. It's kind of like a maxi, but whenever your opponent summons a monster from the hand, and then during the end phase, you're gonna have to shuffle back a lot of cards from your hand into the deck at random if you have way too many cards in your hand compared to your opponent's field. So it can backfire completely, but sometimes it doesn't. This card is not like a massive staple because some people are expecting it to be like a tier 0 card, the best hand shop since Maxi. It's not really the case. This is like the only deck list that I've seen with this card in the side deck, even in other reports and stuff like that. So I don't even think it's like that great. But yeah, a lot of one-ofs that kind of makes sense when you can search them, but some others not really, but I guess they're limited. Duster Heavy Storm. Change of Heart is a 3 and he's still only playing 1. God damn, okay. And then 1 Droplet. More hand shops because clearly this game is these cards are exactly what this game needs, right? Jeez, I'm gonna make a video on hand shops very soon as well, by the way. Anyways, in conclusion, Droll and Logbird is now seeing much play than before in the main deck because it's really good against the Fiendsmith cards, because the Fiendsmith searches a normal spell card that searches another monster, so you're really playing super hard into Droll. Unless you're searching Sanctum, then you're summoning the token, and then you go into Vice Requiem, and then you summon the Fiendsmith, and then you revive back the Fiendsmith, and then you make a rank 6 through the Droll, which completely punishes your opponent for even playing Droll in the first place. Actually, I think that's way more correct. I would be doing that, and also it makes you not play the Fabled Monster. So I think people are misplaying. I think people are just not playing the right cards in their engine. They're playing the right engine, but just not the right way. So I think it's just a matter of time before they understand that and just play better. Unless I'm stupid and I'm missing something very obvious and they're doing the right thing. But yeah, again, the TCG and the OCG, we always have to disagree on everything. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.